Okay, so we all know the artisan system is absurd right now. While the changes Intrepid made are good overall, it still needs some adjustment to make it not as punishing or costly to make simple weapons or generate wealth. And after chatting with my current guild, I realized that the solution is very simple. But first, let me explain the problem for those of you who might not know what's going on. As of the start of Phase 3, you need hundreds of wood and metal to make a level 10 or especially 20 weapon. You need a crap ton of gold to buy reagents to process all of that wood and metal into the required resources. As an example, the Forsaken Spear asks for 152 copper ingots and 60 ash boards. The rest of the materials aren't hard to get, so we'll ignore them for now. To make a single copper ingot, you need 2 black flint flux, 2 raw copper, and a copper fragment. The flux is purchased from the vendor for 30 copper plus tax each, and the copper fragment is made with smoldering ash, 30 copper, and a raw copper. To process the ingot, it costs 85 copper and 1 minute of time. The copper fragment costs 25 copper and 1 minute. The total cost for a single ingot comes to 2 silver, if I did my math right. Now multiply that by 152 and it costs 3 gold and 4 silver just to make the copper for the sword. If we assume that it costs 2 silver to make the boards, then we're adding 1 gold, 20 silver to the cost. And for the rest of the stuff, we can just add another gold to the price for a grand total estimate of 5 gold and 24 silver to make this sword, not including the time it takes to farm 456 copper, 180 ash, and everything else, plus the time to process it all. But that's just for a common weapon that will only sell for 2 gold at the most. If you want to make everything of higher quality, you have to find that amount of materials in that quality. So imagine buying enough rare materials to make a rare weapon, let alone legendary. Also, the ingots are 2 squares wide and stacked to 20, so you need 7 stacks plus space for 2 more ingots, which is 16 squares of bag space, 2/3 of the space in the basic bag. Imagine saving up those materials and all of that space being taken up in your town storage. This is where our problem lies. The cheap weapons are too expensive to make, and now that they drop from mobs, crafting the basic item is an absolute waste of time. But making higher quality items is a task that is unnecessarily daunting and expensive. Here is the solution. First and foremost, the recipe drops need to be higher than the current drop rate for full weapons and gear as it stands currently. Crafters can't make gear if they don't have the recipes. And while some recipes should be rare and unique, this should not be the case for starter and low-level gear. Second, and the thing that everyone's going to agree with, the cost of a crafted item in materials and reagents needs to come down. A crafter can't sell gear that's too expensive because no one will buy it, but they can't sell it at a loss or else they can't afford to continue processing the materials in the first place. Right now, legendary materials have dropped between 10 and 20 silver each because no one can afford much more and the sheer volume of materials required necessitate a low price. But that price is still far too high for a low-level item when crafting costs are accounted for. Third, the amount of high-quality materials needed to improve the quality of an item needs to be reduced. If a crafter can use common materials to craft the basic foundation of the item, the basic base item, right? And then spice it up with higher quality materials to improve its quality after the fact, then the amount of materials needed will be less daunting. If we look at the Ashes Codex crafting calculator, I can show you what I mean. Okay, so look at this. There's this little meter down here that tells you as you add higher quality materials, this meter goes up, and if you put in enough high quality materials, you're gonna reach legendary tier. The only way to do that is through adding legendary materials. So let's say we do 152 legendary copper. That isn't enough to bring it up to legendary, only up to heroic. Each single legendary piece, let's do this one here, one legendary item adds 0.31 to the overall quality, and it needs however much here. Let's just add all of this up. Subtract that to 2, and then we'll say it's all legendary, right? The very base, okay? Now, not including crafting gear or whatever, the quality, it adds up to 71, and you just barely make it into legendary tier if everything is legendary. But if you have even one item set at epic, even one little piece, then you can't have your legendary material. Now, my idea is that the base item requires common all of this stuff. You have your basics, your basic stuff to build the basic sword or spear in this case. Okay, you have all of these materials to make your weapon, right? And you get your basic dagger. Then you just add, say, 1 or 2 pieces, or however many pieces, depending on what they think is fair. Then you add the 2 legendary pieces. Okay, let's say uncommon pieces, right? You add 2 uncommon pieces to like the quality slot, right? You just add whatever it is, and this adds quality to whatever. This is just a general idea, right? And then it should bring it up to uncommon quality. And this is just a specific slot for improving the quality of the item. It has nothing to do with creating the basic item, okay? And then the same can be done for rare, heroic, epic, and legendary. Whatever this quality slot is, you add in a certain number of materials to increase the quality of the sword as it's being made that is not the basic material. It does not require hundreds of legendaries to reach this, right? So we drastically reduce the amount of quality materials needed to create a quality weapon. But in order to balance this, so not everybody has a legendary weapon, what are we going to do? That's right. We are drastically going to reduce the amount of legendary, epic, heroic, rare, and uncommon items that can be found in the world. By reducing the number of quality items, they become more valuable and in fact become legendary. And the fact that you see one on the marketplace, or you even get one at all, is a miraculous find, and it is a colossal find, and it is a moment that you, as a gatherer, you are like, holy crap, I just found a legendary piece of gear, or legendary piece of item or whatever. And that one piece will drastically improve the quality of a weapon when it's put into the quality slot. I'm going to talk more about this later. I'm going to go back to the script now. Because common materials can be obtained in bulk, higher quality materials can appear at the rate they suggest they would. Uncommon, rare, heroic, epic, and legendary. Then, if a crafter is lucky enough to find a legendary material, they add a single piece to their required material list, and the item will get a significant jump in quality. The same would happen for all other quality of materials as well, and by reducing the rate at which they're found, they will still maintain their value for being more difficult to acquire, but won't be so absolutely necessary to make a good quality item. The fourth thing, because we're still doing the list, adjust gathering so these high quality materials spawn as a bonus item the same way they do that mining works currently, and in fewer quantities. Instead of hitting a node and getting 5 rare basalt and 5 rare copper, maybe you get 5 common basalt, 4 common copper, and a single rare copper instead of 5. But that single rare copper will have a significant impact on the quality of an item that uses it. Then the same for wood. You might get 4 common and 1 legendary wood, and so on. The exact amounts and the impact they have on the quality rating of an item would be determined by Intrepid, but these changes could dramatically improve the gameplay loop of the artisan classes, as well as make higher quality items more accessible and at a faster rate that matches the rate at which combatants level and obtain gear, as well as make the value of those items match their crafted price tag. I'm sure there are better ideas on how to fix artisanship in Ashes of Creation, but this one is mine. Let me know what you think in the comments below and whether you like the idea. Maybe share it with Intrepid to see what they think or make them help change things because they're kind of obnoxious right now. Oh, and let's have them fix recipes while we're at it. But let me know in the comments how you would adjust my idea or whether you think the idea is good, what you would do to tweak it. And maybe we can fix crafting together. Anyway, that's all for today. You're welcome.